Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast. This is season number 3, episode number 19. My name is Keith, and I'm here with the illustrious Doug. You got your red on, man. You wearing red today. What's going on?
Yeah, I may or may not be going to a Cardinals game later. So.
And some rain. You might get rained out. Look at that.
Yeah. Raincoats required.
Yeah. So you may be sitting in the rain for a bit. So how long do they wait on a delay? See, I'm not a sports guy, so I don't
know. I'm not waiting more than an hour.
You're out of there. You know, you should do. The wife may not like me suggesting this, but you should swing by Micro Center.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That sounds like a great plan.
I don't know. Maybe get yourself a new key light. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that thing went out last. So if I go dark again, time for a new key light.
Doug's been having trouble with his key light. Yeah. I know. He's working right now. If he goes in the dark, just know it's not bedtime for Doug. It's his key light's messing up on it.
It wasn't planned as a dramatic effect.
I know. If I had a button that I could push when I turn the light on Doug, I would, like some kind of a signal between our houses. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Hopefully well. It's been a crazy busy week. And, we talk about this every now and then. There's these moments in the podcast when we go to harvest. What are we going to talk about? There's so much news, not just like, video game news, because for our main topic today, there's 2 different events or summary topics of game releases coming out that we're going to go over just because there's so much to it. That's going to be our main topic. And then when it comes to the nerd news, holy crap, tons of nerd news. It's like, sometimes this is like the floodgates open and we end up having like tons of stuff to talk about. And so that was one of those games. I don't know about you, but we're kind of going through some of the news like, dude, there's a lot out there. There's a lot going on
this week. Yeah.
And it's AI heavy because AI keeps doing a lot of advancements and stuff. So we're going to get into it. Are you ready to do the nerd news?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's cue up the nerd news.
Nerd news.
All right, we're starting off on the video game front.
Yeah, I'll start this with GameStop. Love them or hate them, many reasons. They have damaged a ton. Well, maybe not a ton. I don't know the exact number. Switch 2 screens by stapling a receipt to the box. My little mini rant here is I hate when they do that. When you get a box, when you order something, I'm calling you out, Best Buy, you slap a pickup sticker on the box. Don't slap it on a box. Leave it as a receipt, because then you're damaging the appeal of the box. What if you want to show it off? Yeah. So this is the same way, but now you're damaging the merchandise.
Exactly. So if you've been under a rock, one of the single biggest news elements is the Switch 2 launch this week. We're not going to exhaust it because I feel like every podcast, every YouTube channel, but this is worthy of it because it's just so crazy. In that, Doug and I, we worked at cons, and it's funny what people collect, because if you're a collector, the box is almost just as coveted as the system or what's in the box itself, because people want complete in box. They want it to be crispy, as Neo-Ness would say. You put stickers on it, you can't get the sticker off because of the goo, but then they stapled. And what's crazy about this, like Doug said, there's these images here we'll show when not only somebody shows, first of all, the staple. See if I can get here just to bring up on it. They show right here, this dude picked his up. Right there, you see on the box, the stapled, like he's driving it home. And then he gets home. You can see it went through the box. I don't know if you guys can see that there. It went through the plastic. That's the screen. Or no, actually, that's what the bag that had the Switch in it.
That's an industrial stapler there.
And then look, like he's on the setup screen. See, you may not be able to see on the podcast, but these 2 dots, right? It actually punctured the screen. So my question for you, in the wake of all of this, like for GameStop, they've already had a little bit of a death knell in that, they've been on the struggle bus when it comes to criticism about, whether or not they're going to make it. Do you think this publicity, how do you think how do you think from a business perspective this goes for them?
Well, I was going to say they've done right. But before I say that, I think this has damaged them a little bit, but they took care of the problem. So that being said, I read another story. GameStop has immediately started to replace the models that were damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this boils down to a untrained staff member.
Yeah.
I think their company as a whole, their national brand, should not be damaged. It's some dumb person.
Yeah.
Used a stapler in a very poor manner.
Exactly.
So that's my thought is their company's not damaged, and them immediately getting on it, them immediately replacing the Switch 2 for these customers shows that great customer service and they actually care about the customer.
So
That's
kudos
just
for
my
them.
thought.
And I brought up the post that Doug pointed out to me that was inside
It's
of the article.
hilarious.
This was their response, and I love it. This was
Good job on them.
This is a great response. It says, we've addressed a unique case of staples damaging Switch 2 screens isolated to one store. Although the initial reports, by the way, everybody, it was across multiple stores, but you know how things kind of get out of control.
Yeah, hopefully one store.
Exactly. It says replacements have been offered and staples have been confiscated, with the Office Space Milton getting his stapler taken away. I love it, dude.
Don't take my stapler.
They're gonna put that guy in the basement. That's what they're gonna do.
Is he still getting paid?
Yeah, exactly. Great movie, by the way, if you all haven't checked it out. So so this is great. Kudos for GameStop, at least for fixing it. Glad it was an isolated incident. And on the Switch 2 front, my brother had sent an article. I didn't dig into it deep, but they may have broken a record in like 3 million some odd units moved. The last prior record was 1 million units. I believe it was PlayStation. I could be wrong on that. Fact check me if you want to. But that's a big deal. I mean, that's a lot of units moved for a launch for a game console. So kudos to Nintendo for pulling it off. That means they've probably been prepping for a while now. They had all of their supply pipelines in place.
Yeah.
You haven't really, anybody who wanted one seemed to get one, and I think that's a good thing.
It is good because these big pre-orders. It's like, well, we're already out. Sorry, folks, you have to wait for the next run. But it seems like they had all the pre-orders and they had some in the store for first come first serve.
Exactly.
People. I'm reading. I wanted to check multiple sites. I'm reading that over 3 million Switch 2s are sold in the first 24 hours.
That's amazing.
That's crazy impressive. They estimate the rest of the year they're expecting about 15 million.
Dang, that's a lot. That's a lot. I held off personally. We've had this conversation. My Switch 1, I just collected dust because my mobile gaming up to this point has been the deck and my PlayStation Portal. So I've held off. Doesn't mean never say never, right? But for now, I'm waiting. That's where I stand.
I'm rocking my ROG Ally.
I know.
It's going great.
Last episode, you did the ROG Ally. Everybody should go check that out if you hadn't already.
Yeah.
So sticking to the Switch 2, let's go ahead and jump to the next thing. Are you aware of iFixit, the website?
I am. I think you have some iFixit tools. You actually upgraded my laptop.
Yep.
And you upgraded the Steam Deck when I had the Steam Deck.
We did some
Or it
M2.
was already upgraded, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've done some M2 things, but iFixit
stuff.
Yeah, if you're unaware, it's a website that they're really big on consumers being able to fix their own electronics. So they even have their own set of tooling. I bought some tools from them. They're great tools for computer stuff.
It's such a beautiful site.
Oh, it really is. They not only do they provide tools, but they provide actual instructions on how to tear down things, from iPhones to Macs to Androids to PCs, even in some cases. And then they give you the diagrams of what to do when and how to do it. It's just such a great service, and it's wonderful. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah. In the state of California's example, there are some laws that are right to repair, because there's this thing in electronics called planned obsolescence. And that essentially means that when a technology company builds something like the Switch 2 or a phone, like an iPhone, they make it to where they don't want it to last too long, and they don't want you to be able to fix it. They want you to be able to have to replace it to keep their hardware life cycle sales going. Well, in certain states like California, don't get me wrong, they go too far on a lot of things. Other things they do pretty cool, in my opinion. I think the right to repair is one of them. And iFixit is one of those sites that kind of helps partners with them and promotes things being fixed. Well, anytime a new piece of technology comes out, iFixit will break it down and they'll put instruction sets on how to do it. And they also do a rating system of how easy it is to fix something. And they say that, unfortunately, go figure, planned obsolescence, the Switch 2 is even harder to repair than the original. They do a complete teardown on the new console, and they've found that it's not an easy fix. So you can see all the different pieces here. And what's great here, they actually put like these videos out here, if I get past the ad here in a moment, where they show you their summary breakdown of their findings. And, we won't play the whole thing here, but it's definitely a cool watch. If you like watching things break down, they talk about the differences between the different consoles. And then they go into, where heat collects. I mean, they just do an awesome job. I'm going to jump over to the disassembly here. And what he's using, by the way, those are one of the tools that come with it. They're like these really cool prying tools so you don't damage equipment. I highly recommend. They're not sponsored by the podcast, by the way, but as a person who owns one, I highly recommend their toolkits. They're great. So what are your thoughts on this, man? Like, what do you think about planned obsolescence? And what do you think about just the general, should things be able to be repaired? Like, where do you land on this, Doug? You've owned some stuff in the past and we've done some upgrades. What do you think?
Well, there's two trains of thought, and my thought is things should be repaired, but that trains of thought is technology advances so fast.
It does.
Why do we repair it? That's kind of the first thought. But then electronics and technology is so expensive, we should repair it because we can't afford to upgrade in the next 5 years. So my thought is, yes, it should be repairable. You look at the history of stuff, and I've tried to do some background research. It's not working this morning, but I think Apple has got some laws coming down from the EU. We've talked about them before with the USB-C and stuff, but they're also trying to make Apple batteries replaceable in your iPhones. As you know, we got beautiful phones. I've fully switched teams now, but I've always thought the iPhone was a beautiful machine, very tightly closed. And with the rumors of the new iPhone Air coming out, it's going to be super, super thin. With that being said, batteries are very important, but you're going to maybe damage that back glass. So until they go back to the old school ways of removable backs, which I think would look terrible on an iPhone, I'm kind of rambling here, but I think changing an iPhone battery is very delicate, so I don't think you could do it at home. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, to me, I think you are right. You bring up a point in that I do understand the goal of any hardware company. I don't care if it's a Switch or an iPhone, is to make it thinner, more efficient. To do that, sometimes they do certain things like integrated boards and stuff like that. So I kind of get not having some repairability, because as the designs get harder and harder, they got to make things more and more compact. It makes it harder and harder to work on. For me, I think there should be certain things that should be either upgradable or, like you said, replaceable. And I would say high wear and tear items. So to me, a battery is something that should, even if it's not pop off, right? It should be like the Steam Deck, for example, where you can easily get into it and replace the battery. That is a high wear and tear item. I think that should always be enabled to be repaired, number one. Number two, the switches, the thumbsticks on the Switch. Remember, we had drift on the Switch 1. Now, our friend Jeff had told us in a messaging, and I haven't read this myself, it's unconfirmed, but he said that he had heard that he had a friend that had a Switch 2 who already had drift on it. And if that's true, that's not good, because that was a huge problem for the Switch 1. Yeah. So to me, my main point is that, to me, if there's something that's high wear and tear, it should be replaceable. We're talking batteries, controls, and then I would love some slight upgradability, meaning storage, which you could do on the Steam Deck as a great example, or your ROG. So to me, I think they should just make rules about, well, these select items should always be upgradable or repairable. If the entirety of the machine can't be fixed, I get it, because you have to put things on a single board and all that. So those are my last points. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to follow up with a question of my own. The drift in these joysticks, it's not a hardware software issue. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a hardware issue.
It's a hardware issue. Yeah.
So any software updates will not fix it.
No, okay. Not for that. Yeah. Not for that.
It was just for my clarification.
No, it was a design choice that Nintendo had made initially for their first. They weren't using what are called Hall effect thumbsticks that they had, and so they had a tendency to warp, so to speak, after usage. And so they were supposed to have fixed that with the Switch 2. That's why I was surprised to hear that. Again, I haven't confirmed what he said, so don't take our word for it. It's just what we had heard. But you know how these things go sometimes. But as time goes on, if there is a problem with the thumbsticks with the Switch 2, we'll know. I know my brother picked one up Really, all of our friends did. I think everybody on the So Excited podcast, in the right way.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, their last one, but everybody bought a Switch 2. My brother got a Switch 2. Honestly, I think, Doug, you and I are in the minority of people in our network of community of content
Yeah,
creators
I
that
think
didn't
so,
get a
yeah.
Switch 2. So, which is fine because we get a bunch of other toys that we cover on the
Well, I spent
podcast.
about the same money on a Switch 2 on my ROG
Oh, I'm
house,
sure
so
you
I'm
did.
tapped out for the moment.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. And I've been putting my money elsewhere in other hobbies with the
Yeah.
D&D stuff, as you know. So it's
And
selective, right? You can't do it
yeah.
all.
Before we switch, I'm just going to throw out a quick shout out of a guy that I like a lot on YouTube. He's called Jerry Rig Everything.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
He does great. He has a Switch 2 durability test, so he'll scratch the screen with different hardness testers. He breaks it all down as well. So we're not sponsored by him. I'm just throwing a shout out that he does an amazing job. And he's got, is it ASMR? Like some
I don't
that
like ASMR.
quiet, yeah.
I don't like
I'm
that,
not
man.
really into that, but he has some like
My
quiet
wife is.
scenes
She
that-
loves ASMR. She'll be listening to a video across the room, and it will
And
drive
could you
me
explain that
nuts.
better for
Dude,
us?
it's just, it's sounds. That's all it is, dude. It's some people
Well, I can't
really
hear anything anyway. Yeah.
Dude, it's like it's sounds. So, for example, if you ever watch an unboxing video of the Switch 2, for example, you always see people. They're like, "Here, I'll put up to mic so you can say." They'll take the box and they'll go like they'll take their nails and go.
Oh.
Hear that?
Yeah.
Like they always make noise, or when the crackle, they put it right up to the mic so you can hear the crackle of the unboxing. Or what my wife watches, it drives me insane. Or people like eating things or making food, so you can hear the squishing and the.
gross.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she'll be
Ugh.
across the room and I'll hear this. I'm like, oh my god, will you please stop watching that? It drives
Yeah.
me insane.
Oh, gross.
So I'm not an ASMR kind of person.
Okay.
To me, it's ASMR is like you either love it or you hate it. Some people fall asleep to it.
Oh,
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, not my bag, man. Not my bag. So I'll get off my soapbox. You
No, you're
triggered me on the ASMR. But back to the point here. If you got yourself a Switch 2, it's going to be a little bit harder to repair. The good news is I'll give Nintendo credit. Unless these things are heavily abused, Nintendo, I would put them in the category of an Apple in that their hardware is very tight. It's pretty durable. It's not cheap. I've heard the most common thing I've heard about the Switch 2, it feels more premium in the hands than the Switch 1.
Oh,
So it's a
yeah.
better build quality. Now, haven't had a chance to talk to my brother about it. He's had firsthand experience with it because he's been so busy working. But he is going to give us some impressions of what he thinks that we can share along with other friends of ours that have picked one up. So
Very nice.
all right. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. Our robot overlords are advancing, my friend. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, Amazon is reportedly training humanoid robots to deliver packages, and that includes walking up the stairs, opening doors, and such. Well, right now, we have Amazon drones that'll fly to your house and somehow lower a package. I think it's all witchcraft, but that's okay.
You'd try it if we had
absolutely.
it.
I've got plenty of landing zone in the backfield there.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I do too. I think it's cool. How weird would it be? One of these walking up, your Ring doorbell gets activated. In your case, you have all kinds of alarms for your place. And then one of these things gets out of a van and puts a box on your front porch. Isn't that sci-fi? It's just crazy to me.
It's crazy. It's pretty expensive at the moment. It looks like it's 16 grand per unit. They're calling them agility robots. Their name is Digit. They, like you said, come out of the back of the delivery van. So I would assume if they could get, these look huge. If you could
They
get
do.
a big van, this is my thought, just talking out loud. If you get a complex of apartments and you got like 30 apartments to go to, you get 4 or 5 these bots all shooting out to the different addresses. It would help that one driver, and then not to downscale operations at Amazon, but you could have less drivers and more robots. But I don't like that because then you're replacing the human workforce.
So let's have some real talk here. All right. I want everyone.
Triggered.
Yeah. So you're gonna look. You scroll on any social media platform. You look at your news app right now. The rage of robotics, especially with AI, and don't get me wrong, it is scary. We're in for a major change. I don't want to downplay that.
Yeah.
But let's look at some real talk here. Okay. And this is about physics and just hardware. Set aside the crazy advancements we've had in software. I'm talking AI. Set that aside for a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about robots for a moment. So on this podcast, we've had this conversation. And honestly, we just had it about the Switch 2 and repairability and these kinds of things. Okay. So with these robotics, here's the thing that comes to mind. Yes, these could displace delivery workers and that sort of thing. However, you and I both know, look at battery life on, let's say, an Android. Even though our friend Matt claims that his battery life is as good as an iPhone, he's a liar.
Yeah.
It's not true.
I know firsthand experience. Yeah.
And don't be wrong, Android does good things. It has good purpose. But here's the thing: the things that Apple's had to do to get good battery life. We even have this issue in EVs, right? Battery life is an issue. Batteries in general is an issue because there's natural resources, there's charging. They over time, they degrade. Think about that now. Even if you displace a workforce, we now have shifted to a new problem of powering these things. It's not like Fallout where we have nuclear batteries and these things can run forever, or fusion batteries, cores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do think that while yes, this is going to impact us, I think there's elements. And then you talk about the wear and tear on these things. I would imagine they would use these in metropolitan areas first. Like you said, if you deploy them into an apartment complex for great, but the wear and tear of going up downstairs, and then imagine people abusing them, vandalism. I mean, all of these things that come into play. That I think there are complexities when it comes to robotics in the public that people haven't fully come full terms on yet, that we're going to run into, problems that we're going to run into. Even if at scale you deployed robots to replace every driver or delivery driver or even manufacturing, you've got an entire industry on parts for the robots to repair them, battery issues, what happens when they die, limitations on where we get our natural resources for batteries. Like, dude, there are so many other physical hardware elements at play here in order for us to, at scale, to fully embrace robotics. We'll get there. I think it's all solvable, but I don't think the hardware is going to move quite as fast as the AI. End of Keith's rant about robots.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else before we shift over?
No, I think we're good.
All right. This next one is interesting in that we always talk about agents. If you don't know what an AI agent is, this is going to be the term for 2025. The idea, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with it, is that AI agents, they basically can do tasks for you. Right now, you can just interact with a chatbot like a GPT or Gemini, and it gives you answers back. This lets you actually give it some autonomy. So if you said, hey, my wife and I want to go on a vacation, go book the tickets, go, here's the place, go book the flight, and it just goes and does it for you. That's an agent. Anything that takes an action on your behalf is an agent. Well, now Google Gemini can handle certain scheduled tasks. So you see this slow moving into agency is what this is. It says that subscribers can ask the AI assistant to provide calendar summaries on a daily basis or generate a summary of events after it takes place. So as you're feeding it with information from your calendar, and I think this is the next step, having it create things on your calendar, that's where this is essentially going. But it goes into that. It's just taking another step forward into, quote, scheduled actions. And essentially what that means, if you are of the right tier and paying for the subscription for the AI assistant to perform specific tasks like providing a summary of your calendar at the end of each day or generating ideas for blog post every Monday. Dude, at some point we can just have AI just, come up with our agenda for us for the podcast. So
there we go.
Grab the news for us. So yeah. We're still doing it by hand, people, the old school way. We're proud. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I think it'd be very handy, but I'm trying to think of examples of where I would need that. My calendar, maybe I'm a little OCD, if that's the right word. I look at that thing like 10, 20, 30 times a day just to make sure I don't miss anything. And a summary, I think a summary would pop up as a notification maybe. I kind of look at notifications and I brush them off. I need to, for me alone, personally look at my calendar, personally see everything that day, And that's the only example I really have at the moment. You may have better examples of what this agent could do for us.
I think it depends on your job function and the meetings that you're doing. I mean, if you're where I see the advantage would be if you're doing a lot of meeting hopping, so you have back-to-back meetings, but each one of those meetings there are topics that you need to capture.
Okay.
I see the next step of this is not only is it's giving you a summary of your day. If it's allowed, if these AIs can start to listen in on meeting, which is a whole other area of businesses don't like yet, and it can create your notes for you. I think at the end of the day, it'd be cool if it said, "Hey, Doug, you had 7 meetings today. Here's the summary of what you talked about in each one of
Yeah,
those
I like
meetings."
that a lot.
You know what I mean? I could see
That's
that being
good.
very helpful. I could
Yeah.
be that being helpful. Now, there's privacy concerns that a lot of companies, most companies where they're landing on this is they will say, okay, well, we have an approved AI note taking. Like we're only using Zoom for our AI notes. You know, like there's a lot of companies that are picking their AI tool that's approved, and that's kind of what they're doing. And I kind of see that's where this is going. All right. Go with the next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
There you go. More AI. Told you it's AI heavy.
Now, I've been reading this one in the background. It's kind of scary, but Anthropic
It is
launching a
Skynet.
new Claude service for military and intelligence use. Now, here's my thought: conspiracy theory.
Well, explain this
Possibly.
first. Explain it, then get your. What does this
Okay.
mean, Doug? Like, break this down, dude. This is
this product is specifically designed for U.S. Defense intelligence agencies. That's our alphabet soup of CIA, NSA, FBI, blah blah blah. So they have looser guardrails for government use. I'm
yikes.
going to stop you right there. Watch the movie Snowden again. Okay, we're going backwards. They said the model is announcing it's already deployed at most agencies at the highest levels of national security. They have access, but they'll be limited to handling classified information. They cannot confirm how long they've been in use. You know, as you read the story, to me, it gets worse and worse. But I have a side note here. My side note is, and this may be just me as a dumb sheep, is what they call you.
Yeah.
But if the government is secretly protecting me from threats, I don't care. That's my thought. And then the whole recording of the phone calls, we're going sideways here. I'm sorry.
No. This is a part of it.
Recording my phone calls and they're like, nope, you're not a bomber. Cool. Don't care.
Yeah. If you've got nothing to hide, you should have nothing to worry about. Look, everybody. And I always say this on these podcasts from a technology standpoint. Privacy is a myth.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
We lost privacy in the mid-90s when they started to place cameras on ATM machines and all throughout. So privacy is a myth. And plus with this, resurgence of cellular technology, and then you get into smartphone, dude, privacy, it's that ship sailed, people. If you think the only way, if you live, off grid, maybe, but if you think that you have privacy, it's not true. Now, that doesn't mean privacy isn't important or there aren't certain things. Like, for example, in the EU, they have laws that protect and say, you have a right to know what Facebook is doing with your data. I agree with all of those. I think you do have a right to the information that they have about you, but don't live under the pretense that you think that you're not being tracked. So, with all tools, there's a pros and a con. Like, this is great if you're going to catch a serial killer. All right. This is good. Your chances of knowing what they were up to are increased. I think where I worry is this line here. And it's just because of the warning, the AI models have looser guard for government training. All right. So they're feeding these things top secret documents, but they did say, they're careful what they give it. I get it. But at what point, as we get closer to AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, that I can't help but think of like Skynet. If you remember the story behind James Cameron's Terminator, the government ends up giving control to Skynet because they trust it with the nuclear arsenal. Skynet reaches AGI and then decides, you know what? It would be better for our survival, the AI survival, if we just eliminate this human race. So I'm not saying that's where this is going, but it's funny to me that, and plus, if we're hearing about this in the news, let's be real, Doug, this has probably been going on for a long time
absolutely.
now. We're just now hearing about it. So it doesn't surprise me, but I'm going to fall back to what you said. we would also be foolish if we don't think other countries are doing this, like China,
Yes.
Russia. So I hate to say it. It's almost, it's probably a throwback to when we first got the nuclear bomb and then other countries started getting it.
Yeah.
I bet the argument was, well, you know what? It's a terrible technology, but if our enemies are going to have it, then we definitely need to have it. I kind of have to take that same route. If you watched Oppenheimer, I feel that way about AI in a way.
Yeah.
You know,
There's races going on all the time, and I'm not talking car races, horse races, whatever.
No,
we
technology
had the space race back in the 60s, right?
Yep.
Make sure I get my years right.
No, you're
then
right.
We had the arms race. The nuclear
Cold
race
War
was back in the 30s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in the AI race, the information age race. It's a race between different countries, different powers, blah, blah, blah. But that's what we're in right now. So it's who can get to the fastest, most readily accessible information. Kind of looking at this, back to the story, they're using this Claude Gov model to do threat assessments, intelligence analysis. They're doing language translation, stuff to keep us safe, hopefully. Yeah.
And moving quicker. I think that, and timing is of the essence when it comes to intelligence and military as well. Yeah. So it can do it a lot faster than a human can. And in this case, you need that, you know? I kind of put this in the category of efficiency and speed. When detecting breast cancer, for example, they found that AI is so much faster and more accurate. Dude, that's a timing thing. You want to catch that early. I kind of throw this in the same thing. Whenever you're defending your country, you need information or patterns to be identified early and as accurate as possible. Maybe that's a good thing on that front. It's more about what guardrails are they releasing, and I really hope in the back of their minds that they're being careful with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I hope so.
That doesn't mean China is.
No, because what is their AI called again?
Which one?
The one that you can't talk bad about China.
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, they have DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, okay.
And they have a few of them, but DeepSeek's one of them.
First rule of DeepSeek is don't talk bad about your communist overlords.
Exactly. All right, let's switch topics here. This is a little lighter, but it's also about AI. I told you it's AI heavy. Now, I've not used this. I'm going to dig into this because I think it's interesting. So Google, I love notes. If you know me, I love taking notes. It's a weird obsession I have. I don't know. It's probably because I'm a writer. But I've always loved notes, whether for business, my personal life. I am journaling. I love notes, and I love note-taking apps. Doug and I have geeked out even about Note Shelf. One we use. I use OneNote, Note Shelf. I've used Evernote. You name it, dude. I have used it, but this one I have not. It's called Google's NotebookLM. It says it now lets you share your notebook and AI podcast publicly. So it says viewers can't edit the notebook, but they can interact with AI audio overviews, ask questions, and read FAQs. Let me break this down for you, Doug, how cool this is. Yeah. Let's say I have a topic that I keep notes on, and I put it inside of this. Let's say Dungeons and Dragons. I'm doing research. All the knowledge I gather in my notes and put it in it, I could put it in a notebook, make it accessible to you. You could ask it questions and learn from my notes, not just by reading my notes, but you can say, hey, AI, give me an overview of all the key notes on Dungeons and Dragons, and it'll tell you. And then you can ask it questions. So it's almost like it makes like a mini trained model. It can take the notes and learn from them and then share it with others. I think this is awesome. And this is exciting to me because think about whether you're a mechanic or law enforcement, or think about that for a moment. If you took all your policies and procedures, because you were a procedure guy when you were in law enforcement, right? Yeah. Can you imagine building a notebook in Google's NotebookLM and then making it available, even not just publicly, but at least just to your department, and officers could learn that way or ask it questions? Do you think about that for a moment?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm going on, and we're doing a lot of side trips today. I'm going on a side trip to say that the younger generation of officer asks more questions, which is a good thing and kind of a bad thing. I'm not that old of a cop, but back in the day, it was here's your job and this is how you're going to do it. And now it's with millennial cops, and I'm like the first year of the millennial. Anyway, they ask a lot more questions. They're a different breed of officer. I think this would help them out because what they want is a clear explanation, clearer than we've ever been given in the past. So this would help out big time.
And people learn differently, right?
Example.
Well, you've learned as a trainer, people learn differently. Some people are
They do.
audio like, some people are
Yep.
visual.
I've
Some people like to
taught
read.
lots of classes in my day. I'm still an instructor in many different facets. And yeah,
Yeah. So
there's definitely different learning styles.
this lets you consume knowledge in different ways, and it's
Absolutely,
consistent.
yeah.
I love this from a corporate standpoint. One big problems that companies have is onboarding new employees and training in any industry, whether you're healthcare, banking, doesn't matter, let alone law enforcement, man. It's all
Yeah.
over. Can you imagine you get in the legislature, you get a new congressman, junior, never. Imagine taking the knowledge and procedures and putting it into notebook, an AI notebook, and then they can right here. It says here that they can interact with it to ask it questions, have generated content, audio overviews, briefings, and FAQs.
That would be amazing.
Dude,
yeah.
I think this is such a positive kind of a thing. Here's the other part. It says that they first launched this in 2023, and I've not used NotebookLM. I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm hoping it's not like behind a paywall, but it says the app is designed to help you understand material from a variety of sources such as notes, documents, but get this, even YouTube videos. It can provide AI generated summaries of content. It can generate an AI podcast style discussion from that content.
We might need to.
I know, we're getting replaced. And chat with you about the material and more. Google launched a mobile notebook LM app. Dude, I'm going to look into this. Personally,
now, are you a Google Workspace user?
I don't think I am. I was with a prior company.
It's completely free for all Google Workspace.
And that's business class, I think. Now, I do have ties into a local university I teach for. They may have it because I think there's an education one. So I may not have access to this, and probably why I haven't used it. I'm hoping, though, that Microsoft, like I use Microsoft OneNote, for example, I would love for them to be able to copy this and do this. And all. Can you imagine, like, we're talking about Note Shelf. Can you imagine integrating AI into Note Shelf or into Evernote to be able to do this? I don't care about the topic because I'm huge on education, man. I love that whether you're a video game collector and you want to share your knowledge, like think about it. If you're Mr. Right Way and he always says collect games the right way, imagine if he took all of his knowledge, personal experience about collecting and put it into an AI that people can learn from.
It'd be amazing. Yeah.
Then put it behind like a Patreon, like people could pay to get your knowledge. Think about that for like anything that you want to learn. People can take their knowledge, put it into this, and then people can learn from it. I think this is awesome. So
I think it's great. And you really got me excited that if Note Shelf added that or something added that, I've tried to keep up with the story of two different campaigns on D&D.
Oh, dude, that's a great idea. You could summarize it for you. Yeah.
Just imagine if you can analyze and you get into your story, you say, oh, what's that shopkeeper's name that we visited? And if I wrote the note down and he goes back, well, that shopkeeper's blah, and this is what you said to him, and this is what you did, game changer right there.
I do have a suggestion for you, but you need to ask your players if they're okay with it. Okay. Take your iPhone. Yeah. All right. This is a hack here. Take your iPhone.
I'm looking.
Open up either, you can do it one, two ways. You can use voice memo or you can use the Notes app. Either works. And as long as you're on the latest version of iOS, just hit record. Let it record the gaming session. Now, this is only going to work if you're in room with people so it can hear everybody. It probably could work if you have the speakers, if you're doing a virtual game. Let it just record the entire conversation. Let's let it run for however long it runs. You got to have space on your phone, but audio files aren't big. Hit stop. And then if you hit the three little dots at the top, it'll say view transcript. You copy all that transcript, drop it into GPT, and tell it to make you notes from your DM session, and then slap that into your note shelf.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Now, that's back to this article. Imagine you take it the next step further. So right now, you can do that right now, Doug, to capture your games. But imagine taking to the next level with what they're doing with this, and then you would be able to ask it questions like you said. What was that shopkeeper's name? What did I buy? What do I have in my inventory? That kind of a thing. Dude, this is where AI, it's going to just, it's crazy. Absolutely
there are some really, really good uses for AI. The medical field.
Dude.
As long as it doesn't replace student learning, but it enhances student
learning. I hope it
supplements.
I hope it supplements. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. All right, next one. You got this, buddy. It's your boys at Apple.
I'm super excited. I've always loved a good keynote, and I've talked about this a lot. I won't go back, but look at our past episodes. I've talked about keynotes a lot, and this is a big one. I've been reading news about this all week. Apple does have a keynote on Monday. I believe it's noon for us in our time zone. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to check. But they are going to show off some revamped apps like Safari. They're going to work on their camera. I've also been told they're going to go with a new like icon style. So if you know what a squircle is, it's a squarish circle. It's weird. So that is the official term. We may be getting squircles.
What does it look like?
To the Vision OS, they have squircles as their icons.
How do you spell squircle?
SQ, I don't know. Squircle. Here, I'll let you look that up.
Squircle. Oh, there it is. It's popped up. Squircle. A lot of people.
There it is. There, and there's a diagram for those watching.
Oh, okay. Hey, look at that AI come through.
It's a squarish circle, and that's our new icon display.
So instead of a rounded square, it's just it's
a squarish round.
It's round. Like Let's just call it what it is. Why do we need a new word, Doug? It's more round.
Squircle. It's not in Webster's dictionary yet, I don't think.
Okay, got it. Maybe it's more visually appealing. Who knows? Whatever.
So moving past the squircle, we're looking at other enhancements. We're also looking at some Android stuff. They go back and forth. iPhone takes Android stuff. Android takes iPhone stuff. The one thing I'm excited about is, and it's so simple, estimated time to battery charge or estimated time to battery dead.
Cool.
It gives you kind of a timer.
Okay.
That's one of the rumors. It's not official yet.
Sure.
The other thing is we've gone 16, 17, 18, 19, blah, blah, blah. As far as OSs, I think they're going to switch to year. So it's 2026 next year. So this will be iOS 26 to coincide with the year.
Okay.
So everything's going to be iOS 26. And I've seen that across multiple.
Yeah. They're just going to jump to 26.
So it's pretty much confirmed, I would say.
Okay. And that's common. They did that. But remember, Windows was going to do that back in but Windows did do that back in the day. Remember Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000. If for those of you in the IT world, that was a server class.
Vista.
Well, then they switched. Oh, wait. Well, what happened was with Windows and Microsoft was they got out of hand in that it would be the year 2000 and people are still rocking Windows 98. And they didn't like that. And I'm wondering if that'll happen. I don't know. Maybe Apple may look at it as we're going to nudge people forward, but I don't know. We'll see. But that's why they did away with. They did Windows Millennia. They did Vista. Then they did XP. Now we're back to straight up numbers again. Windows 11.
I'm going out on a ledge here, but you're in the IT world. I'm going to say Windows XP was their best creation.
Oh.
At least as far as my perspective.
It depends on the lens that you're viewing it from. Whether you're viewing it from a business standpoint, supportability, or consumer standpoint.
Consumers for me.
You also have to look at it as how were you using it it was right for so here's my take. Windows 98 was awesome. 95 was a game changer because it was their best GUI. And Windows 3.11 was kind of garbage in my opinion.
They stepped up big time.
Yeah. And 95 also introduced USB support, which was huge. So 95 was pivotal just because of it pushed the ball forward. 98 though, stable. 98 was the best one in my opinion of that era, especially for video gaming. Yeah. Okay. ME was trash. I'm gonna say people hated on Vista. I didn't think it was as bad as they said, but it wasn't as good as XP. Now remember, there's the Windows 8, which was garbage.
We shouldn't even name that. That's like Voldemort.
It was. He cannot be named. So, but yes, XP was amazing. But the thing about it, man, Windows 10 is pretty dang good. I think Windows 11 is pretty good. They're getting better.
Yeah.
So they've had. I think the last bad one they had was definitely 8. And they've not had a misstep since then. I got to give them credit on that. So, okay, man, we are going down a lot of alleys way.
Yeah. Okay, back to that. So Monday, but next week.
Okay, check it out.
Noon. Check it out. Maybe some hardware releases.
Yeah,
as well.
Maybe. There was that rumor, but I don't think they'll announce because this is for the WWDC, the World Developers Conference. This will be software heavy. It won't be hardware heavy, but sometimes they make a few announcements on hardware.
They're rumored to release the iPhone 17, and I've seen pictures of it. It looks it's totally different design. It looks really good.
There's rumors about the iPhone Air in the fall as well.
It is supposed to rival the I'm going to say this wrong. The Samsung 25, Galaxy 25. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
what we're up
It's
to?
pretty thin.
Super,
Yeah,
super thin.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. Okay. All right. This last one, we're in it on a weird note. People are tasting Nintendo 2 Switch cartridges.
I saw this story.
So what's funny about, and it's not just one person, there's like a lot of them you can see, but this is a thing. Basically, Nintendo made the original Switch game cards. The first ones taste bad on purpose. The coating is a bitter chemical called, I'm going to not try to butcher this, denatonium benzoate.
I think you got it right.
So they wanted to know, did they do it again? Of course they did. It tastes terrible, but they do this with medications. Those cartridges are so little. You don't want little kids swallowing them.
Yeah, you got it.
So they do it so that if a little kid, toddler, puts it in their mouth, they spit it out as a reaction. So I think it's a good thing that they do it. It's weird to me that you have all these adults tasting it, though.
I guess it's they're testing its safety to make sure the kids will be okay.
I guess that's what it is.
The denatonium benzoate should not
Yeah.
be good for your body, probably.
That's probably. I don't think I'd want to go around licking that very often. So anyway, that wraps it up for the nerd news. We told you all we had a lot
of stuff, and
We
we
did.
went down a lot of side roads.
We did, but it's good. So we have a lot on this next one, but we're gonna try to condense it down because there is no way we can go over all this stuff. So first out the gate, video game news right now going on is the Summer Game Fest of 2025. This is basically this kind of replaces E3. Remember E3 was everybody could go to. I've always wanted to go to E3. Yeah, but E3 went away. E3 was like a big conference where all the video game developers would announce all their games. But it went away. Instead, in its place, they have the Summer Game Fest. Now, our friend, I mentioned him earlier, Steve Rightway, he is at this, and there's actually pictures. He met Death Stranding, Kojima, Death Stranding director, Metal Gear Solid. He met him. He's out there hobnobbing it with all this. So it's kind of cool.
What the heck?
If you go check out his content, he's got pictures on all his socials of this. This is really neat. I'm happy that he got invited and got to go out here. But this is cool. There is absolutely no way we can cover all this stuff. We're just going to do some highlights of what games are coming out here. There's a lot of games out. Japan has been cranking the games out, and you're going to see that here in a bit for the other one we're going to talk about. Are there any standouts for you on here? I'm just going to call out Resident Evil Requiem.
That was my first one.
Yeah. So people love Resident Evil, and if you look at this, doesn't it look good? I mean,
it looks amazing.
It looks so good. This one looks a little more sterile at the beginning. It's like in an office building, and I've not seen all of these, but dude, I'm impressed. I think they're really kind of stepping it up on these. Skip ahead here. Look at that. These character models.
They look great.
They really do. I've tried to get some gameplay footage. It seems like they're merging because they mentioned like Biohazard in it. There's like some of the prior games, and I think they're like maybe pulling all the stories together on this one. So this ought to be interesting.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Biohazard is what it's called overseas?
No.
Or is it different?
It was Biohazard here as well. That's the one where they were in the house.
Okay.
No, Biohazard was one of the Resident Evils. What's interesting about this throws back to the original. Remember Resident Evil 1 took place in a mansion?
Yeah.
They have images of like the mansion's hallway in this, and it's almost like they're going back to throwback to between Raccoon City and the second one, but it looks like a lot of this takes place in the OG mansion. So I'm interested to see what they do with the story. Actually, if you've seen any of the movies, you guys will be familiar with this as well. But it looks really, really good. All right, I'm going to keep on scrolling here because we're not going to cover everything here.
Yeah.
There's a new Wu-Tang game. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
I like maybe one Wu-Tang song, and that's it.
They had a video game. Was it a fighting game? What was that?
They did back in the day. As you were talking about this, I'll look it up.
Yeah. So this Wu-Tang game, it's got a cult following. It really does, whether you listen to their music. So they're bringing back them as a video game because their fighting game was really, really popular. But it looks like they're getting back into. They don't show much footage. It looks like a definite brawler. It looks
very good.
Yeah, graphics are cool. It's very cartoony. I like it.
So Wu-Tang Shaolin style, if I'm saying that right, came out in '99 for the PlayStation 1.
Yeah. So this is cool that they're doing that. They're kind of going back to
Midway Studios did it last time, which Midway Studios I'm a big fan of. They've got a lot of great titles.
They do. I'm gonna click through here. What other ones you want to call out? 'Cause there's a lot here,
the
bro.
one kind of up, but it's a sequel to Scott Pilgrim taking over the world.
Oh, right here. Is that this one?
It's a nice side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah,
It's
Scott
really cool.
Pilgrim. I didn't play that one all the way through. I played it a little bit. It's really good. So I
just
love that they're doing
picked
this.
up some Scott Pilgrim compendiums for
Yeah.
his comics. I'm
Yeah,
super
yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
There's another Legos game down here. It
Oh,
looks
where's that
kind
at?
of kiddish, but
Shovel Knights actually has a
it
name
looks
too.
very
Wow.
nice.
Let's see, Lego. Oh yeah, look at this.
Lego Voyagers.
So they're really like
I say kiddish, and then it looks like there was a Lego line made for kids, and that's what it looks like.
oh, Duplo. That's what that was
Duplo,
called.
thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of like
It looks
boy.
Duplo.
Look at. I don't know if this is gameplay or just a cinematic, but look how
gameplay. Oh, there's a
This is-
gameplay. Okay,
it's gorgeous.
still beautiful, yeah.
who would have thought a Lego game was. Look at that.
The
It's
Lego games are
beautiful.
very, very popular right now. I'm playing the
They're fun.
Lego Star Wars.
They're very good. All of them are
Yeah.
good. All of them are good. Well, that's cool. Good for Lego. I think that's great. What else do we have?
There's a
see.
weird one. Keep going down to
Oh, there's a
felt
few.
that boxing.
Dude, what? I didn't
What?
see.
It looks
So, what
weird.
the heck is
It's
this?
a felt little animal for those listening.
Like a Muppet?
And like a Muppet with no clothes on.
Oh my god!
Is it Muppet boxing?
What?
Oh my
An
god!
unadoptable orphin. This looks like a joke.
We've never seen this, folks.
Oh my god!
It's like an
Looks like-
origin story.
It looks like it's on drugs. It's kind of like it's like a Rocky story. This
It's
is
a
like
Rocky story for a Muppet boxer.
this is like
Oh,
a movie I would watch.
This could be the game of the year here.
Oh
I'm
my
calling
god!
this out.
He's got an eye patch. All right, I got to get this some gameplay. Do they show gameplay?
Uh,
Because it looks like one lung city is cleaning a toy. What the heck is this? Oh, if the the game looks
oh,
really good.
the
Actually,
game looks amazing.
You
They don't
cool.
show it. So is
They
it
don't-
like Punch Out?
it seems that way. This may
Oh,
actually
I'm
be a
so
pretty
glad you
dang good
played that.
game. Look at that. It's just like Punch Out.
Oh, it's Punch Out with Muppets.
Dude, I would totally think this.
Oh my
It's gonna be
gosh.
on Steam. You can wish list it on Steam.
Okay.
It looks really good.
It does look very good.
Take control of a flimsy puppet. Look at that.
Felt that boxing. Write that down.
He's punching. Did you see it when he was punching the meat? It said beat that meat. Meat beats.
Oh, it's
Oh, I'm
good.
crying. Okay.
That's gonna be great.
Oh, great game. Okay.
Okay. Comic Invasion
Oh, this looks
by
looks pretty
Marvel
cool.
looks great.
I love the art style. Oh, this
Very
is beat 'em
nice.
up. Yeah, this looks so good.
You
I
know,
love
we've
these.
talked about the art style a lot, but if you go back to like a retro art style, I think it's fine.
I love it. I love it. I think it's
it
great.
works for your game. You don't have
Yep.
the best don't have to have the best
You just play
real world.
through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
And
That's
it's
what
a
this
great one.
that's
The
what this
first
looks
one.
like.
Now they've released another one.
My daughter and I love playing these together. These co-op beat 'em ups like this, they're so much fun. I'm so glad they're doing these. I'm excited about this one. That's a good one. That's great.
Continuing down the list, we're almost done. Sonic has a racing game out,
Okay.
but I don't think it'll ever compete to
They're
Mario.
trying to compete with
But it's okay.
Mario, but they ain't gonna get there, in my opinion. I've heard it's
No.
good. I've heard good things about it, but
It
it's
looks
just
great
it looks beautiful too. But it's so hard to compete with
with
the Switch
Mario
to release in
World,
Mario. Yeah,
right? Yeah,
Game of Thrones is a game.
yeah.
What?
It's similar. I looked at it to the Lord of the Rings games, but this scenario or this not scenario, this scene right here,
It's Jon Snow with the White
Jon
Walker.
Snow turns into a White Walker. Not
Oh, so they're doing like an alternate thing.
They are, yeah.
Okay. This is all a thematic, so they don't really show gameplay. That's what it
No.
says in the thing. So I'm curious about what it's
They
going to be
take
like.
out a dragon.
Yeah.
But you'll see in the very end. Sorry, I gave it away too soon. But
Yeah, but again, it's
Jon Snow is standing next to the White Walker King.
oh, is that what he's doing? Oh,
He's got the blue eyes.
got the blue eyeballs. All right. So they're doing I don't know. It'll be interesting. Seems like to me they're kind of missing the the mark on this a little bit, but we'll see.
Now, there's one I'm super excited about. It's a tiny little screen. Keep going down. It is.
Oh, is it this?
It's Death Star Sabotage.
What
But I
is
think
it?
it's a Fortnite thing.
It is. It is. I saw this.
But
it looks-
their
yeah.
edition of Star Wars. I have not
That's cool.
downloaded Fortnite again. But I
No,
thought
this
about
looks
it.
good. That's good. I read like they were saying that them adding Star Wars into Fortnite made it feel like a different game.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
dude,
And that about wraps it up. Other
yeah.
than a
Some
fire
other
washing
article.
simulator.
Yeah, well, it's
Dude.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff. We could just keep going. There's so much, but those are just highlights. Now, in addition to this, this one I did watch. We're gonna shift gears from Summer Game Fest. On the day that the Switch 2 launched, Sony, pretty ballsy, they had what's called a state of play. Now, what's cool about this, they just show one video after the other of games coming out. Now, most of these, one thing I want to call out on this, most of these are going to be released in 2026. However, what PlayStation did that I thought was really interesting, almost every single one of them, a lot of them, I'd say 80% of them have demos you can play now.
Oh, nice.
I think that's pretty cool because even if you're going to release a year out, you're letting people play a demo. I think this is a practice that I would love to see all of them kind of get into. I think their state of play was really good. There was some weird crap out there though, man. So
Very
I'm going to start with some of my favorites. So they're adding content to Astrobot. By the way, if you've never played Astrobot, holy cow. Yeah. It's probably one of the best. I would put up there with Mario on platformers. It's incredible. It is so good. So they're adding content to that, and I'm glad. It's amazing. This is interesting. This is it's like Marvel versus Capcom. It looks like it has a limited character set, but the art style is interesting. It's a fighting game. Look at this.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Yeah. And this would match. They also have a wireless. It's the first PlayStation wireless arcade fighting stick.
Oh.
And so I think this would go along with that nicely. The art style, this looks really, really good. Now, it's got limited characters. They don't have like massive amounts of characters in it. But it's 4-player tag team. So you can tag in and out. And I think that's cool. So, yeah, this is really good. Instead of just Marvel versus Capcom, this one is Marvel Token Fighting Souls is the name. So
very nice.
Yeah. So that's a cool one I wanted to call out. Super excited about this. If you haven't picked this up on your PC, you need to, Doug. Ghost of Tsushima. Did you ever hear about that?
Yes, I have seen that.
You got to grab it. It's so good. Well, this is a continuation. This is Ghost of Yugati. And these games are just beautiful and they are amazing. Basically, it takes place in Japan and you're samurai. The fighting system is great. This one I am so excited about.
Really good. Yeah, that's what I was going to call out.
I didn't expect it. So first of all, it's made by the same developer for the Hitman series, and I love Hitman games. They are so good. Very good job. This one is 007. This is like the first time since like GoldenEye, I think. Maybe they've burned some other ones after that, but this has a very Uncharted feel to it. It's got a good story. It takes place where it's James Bond at the very start of his career before he becomes a secret agent, how he gets into it.
That's really cool.
So I don't know if you'll be picking this up. A lot of these, the advantage that you have with Sony, a lot of these are going to come out on PC as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's kind of my limitation at the moment.
Well, it should. I mean, with Sony, they have an agreement where they're releasing select one of these, or a lot of these, like they did for Last of Us and Spider-Man. You should see them on Steam eventually as well. Nice. So this game looks excellent.
Very good.
A lot of people are saying he looks like Tom Cruise. I don't know if you think that or not. Let's skip ahead.
They are, and that's what I was going to say. The next one, James Bond, they're looking for one, aren't they? Because Daniel Craig is dead.
Yeah, he's done. They're looking for a new one. I don't think they've announced it officially yet, but they say this character model looks like Tom Cruise. I see it a little bit, but it looks awesome. I'm excited about this. I'm ready to play this one.
It would be interesting because Tom Cruise has filmed his last Mission Impossible.
That is true.
So it's time for a new.
I don't think it'll be him. I think he's a little too old. So I think they will pick somebody newer. So all right, let's keep on going.
The next one down, there's the arcade.
There's the arcade stick. Yep, that's big buttons. Look at that, man. That's
very nice.
Cool. All right, keep on scrolling.
And Thief, your screen looks different than mine.
Oh well, yeah. Oh, I picked a different dude. There's a different. I went with a different.
I was trying to follow along.
I went with a different article because the one when I would play the videos, they were glitching. So I went with The Verge on this one. I'm sorry about that. If you scroll down in the document, you'll see it. So this one is Mortal Kombat. They're doing a legacy. This is where they're pulling them all together, remastering them. And what's cool about it, they even have footage like a documentary of how they made them and the impact on society.
Oh, very cool.
And so this looks really cool. What's neat, you can play the all the versions. You can play Game Boy. You can play like they just throw them all in there.
That's really cool.
Yep. And they put the scan lines in. So this is a pretty cool compilation.
That is very cool.
So I think this is neat. And they put tons of documentary data into it and interviews with the original motion capture actors. And so, yeah, it looks really good. All right, keep on scrolling here. Now, Thief, did you ever play this on PC?
I did way back in the day, and it was really, really good.
It was good.
I suffered from I didn't have a good enough PC to even play Thief.
Yeah. This is an OG Windows game, but this is VR. But it looks really good. And so
the VR kind of made me sad because I wanted another Thief game.
Yeah.
So the first one came out in 1998.
It did. It did. I played that, man. I'm that old. I was there, as Elrond would say. There's others like Digimon Story, which to me is another like Pokemon kind of thing. I've never really gotten into it. I am so excited.
This looks good.
Did you play this on the PlayStation 1?
I did, yeah.
Dude, I am so excited.
That's the only Final Fantasy game I played.
Really?
Still need to play 7.
7's great, especially if you do the remastered. It's really good. But yes, so this is Final Fantasy Tactics, kind of a remastered or retelling. What I love that they did about this, you can play the OG PlayStation version. They're bundling 2 versions with it, the PlayStation version and then the remastered version. It's kind of reminds me of what they did with Command and Conquer. You know how you can play Command and Conquer remastered or in the OG pixelated version? That's kind of what they're doing.
Tab or something and it changes.
Yeah, you hit a button. So I love this. I think this is great. This is a turn-based strategy game. So it's not like, when I say turn-based, it's not like the normal combat. It's that you actually have to move them like pieces on a chessboard, if you think of it that way. It's a great game. It's so much fun. This will be available this year, so that's a good one. What else we got here? Bloodstained was a huge Castlevania like side scroller. So they're really kind of pulling out all the stops of this. So that's a lot of people loved it, and so there's a continuation of that. Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement.
I never got into Castlevania back in the day.
Yeah, it's hard. Did you see this Pragmata? This looked odd.
I did. It was a little interesting.
It's like a little girl with
style.
Yeah, it's like a little girl with a guy that's trying to protect her, and robots have taken over Earth. I love the cinematics and the way that it looks gorgeous. The combat looks very button smashy to me. I don't know. I'm not big on like a lot of the Dynasty Warriors. Are you familiar with those games?
I am. I've never played them though. Yeah.
Like you just smash buttons, mash. So I'm worried this will be like that when they throw tons of enemies at you, and that's just not my style. But I don't know. The story looks cool, looks interesting. I might give it a shot.
Now the next one looks very strange.
Dude, this game I don't understand. This is like
opening sequence of how this guy
turns
into.
There's some things in Japan. I'm wondering, what are they smoking? Look at this. How this starts, man. So it's like a cartoon. At first, like combo realistic, and they're having breakfast. Look at this, like hand drawn.
Oh yeah, and then if you skipped
no, hey, watch this. The doorbell rings. No, I'm gonna play it. We're going in. It's got violence. I'll mark the video. Dude goes to the front door, and then he's dead on the doorstep. And then his buddy goes, checks it, and there's this weird goblin eating side of his face on the stairs.
Yeah, he's holding his arm and he's eating his arm.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is, his arm. And then he stabs him in the eyeball. And this weird sequence happens where his face starts to... what the heck? And then he's inside the body.
Blows his head up. Yeah, it's weird.
What's wrong with Japan?
I bet that's a mini game where you have to...
Probably.
Go in his brain. And
maybe. But then he becomes like this weird robot kind of character, and if I skip ahead to some of the gameplay here, it looks like a button mashy. Look at that. Look at all that blood.
Tons of blood.
So I don't know about this.
I don't know either. It's so strange.
It's what's wrong with Japan? I'm a little worried about them, Doug.
That's a whole different. We'd have to put an age limiter on there, and yeah.
Oh God. So this is Romeo. Romeo is a dead man, which is a weird.
I love that it starts out likely mature.
Likely mature. All right, we'll keep on rolling. Have you ever played the Lumens game? They're kind of like Tetris, but better.
I have not.
They're pretty good. It's just it's a puzzle game. They don't
Shout
really
out to columns back on Game
columns. Yeah. They don't give you a great view of it, but I don't know. The Lumens would
too much going in the background.
They would time it with music. So think of it like Tetris with music. but it's pretty complex. I didn't really ever get into it.
Yeah.
And
that's about it.
That is about it. There was one that you brought up, and it's not on here. Baby, what was that?
Yeah, it was on the other one, wasn't it?
Baby feet game? Baby foot.
Baby foot.
Dude, this was
weird.
Dude, what is wrong?
I have no idea.
So
I don't even know that.
They're just like talking about going to the bathroom, and somehow you have to control every step this guy takes. And it's about him finding bathrooms. What? It's so freaking
weird.
But,
look how he walks, because you are controlling left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
And he could like fall. Yeah, I think you're probably using the triggers for left, right to walk across this open world. And he finds an outhouse and somebody. Dude, what?
I hope it's a concept only, but it may be.
No, it's a game. Here, play as Nate, an unemployed fail son with nothing going for him until one day he discovers a power he never knew, putting one foot in front of the other. Also, he has to pee really bad.
What the heck? Oh my gosh.
I worry sometimes. It kind of looks like Death Stranding, where you have to walk, but Death Stranding looks way cooler than this. And Death Stranding's weird, don't get me wrong.
I'm doing a throwback here. This is Friday night. All your friends are busy.
Yeah.
You're going to the movie rental.
Yeah.
And everything's checked out except this one
weird thing. Exactly. All right, brother. I think that brings it home to us. That was a crazy full episode.
Yeah, we had all kinds of stuff to share. I'm glad.
Dude, we went over an hour. We want to thank everybody for staying with us. Our subscription count keeps climbing. We're like, at the time of recording, I checked this morning, we're 100 shy of 5K, my friend.
5K. I would never imagine 3 years
ago.
But
this is no, me neither. When we started with like 5.
And it was mom.
I know, it's all families, cousins. I know, my brother.
Hey, our biggest fan.
Our biggest fan. Yeah, he definitely is our biggest fan. So, we want to thank you all for joining us. Times are weird. Thanks for keeping up with the news with us. And we just have a good time sharing this stuff. Again, things are slowly starting to calm for us. And we're going to have some really cool content coming up outside of our normal format. Doug, what am I forgetting about all the other usual stuff that we talk about?
Subscribe on YouTube. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram. You're doing a great job of sharing some stuff on there. I'm trying to highlight some stuff on there. We have a merch store. Not in it to make money, even 1%. We just want to keep the lights on. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for commenting, telling us what we should cover. And 5,000. Thank you. I don't even know if I know 5,000 people, but thank you all so much. It's very nice and supportive, and we just love talking about what you guys love listening to.
Definitely. Thank you all so much for joining us. Meet us back here, same time, same channel. Stay nerdy.
See ya.